And for the same reason, please identify yourself when you ask a question. The protocol tonight will be opening comments by both coaches, then questions for the coach, and then we'll go to questions to the players. There'll be no opening comments by the players. Coach Hoke and the Michigan student athletes will be are en route now, so they should be here shortly. Couple of housekeeping notes. There'll be a post-game media party at the Manor House over at the Camelback Inn, and the media shuttles will run as long as needed tonight. If you have any issues with that, we'll be up in the press box. Just come see us. Okay. Coach Hoke will be joined by Jeremy Gallen, Taylor Lewin, and quarterback Shane Morris. Sit behind your name tag, please. Yeah, you're right there. You got two more coming? Yeah. Okay. You want to start on your part?
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
like to start. No,
Okay, well, while we're waiting for Shane and Taylor, Coach Hoke has agreed to go ahead with his opening comments, and we'll go to questions for you, and then questions for the student athletes.
okay. You know, we're proud of the seniors who played their last game of football for the University of Michigan. And, you know, there's a lot of those guys, like the one sitting next to me, who taught a lot of lessons to a group of young kids, and we'll always remember that. But we didn't play well enough today in a lot of areas. Third down conversions on both sides of the ball in the red zone. We didn't play well enough, and when you don't do that and you don't have your offense can't get on the field, you know, you give up a couple big plays in there defensively, and also I didn't think we did a great job in some of the kickoff coverage. They hurt us with field position, and this was a field position game.
Okay, questions for Coach Hoke. And again, please let us get a mic to you, and please identify yourself. Questions for Coach Hoke. Over here to the right, second row.
John Borton, Wolverine Magazine. Coach, can you talk about the trouble that you had staying with Lockett in the first half, especially?
You know, I think, number one, you got to give him credit. I think he's a good football player. Secondly, you know, I think Waters did a nice job of putting the ball in the right place. And then, you know, yeah, you got to do a better job executing coverage-wise.
Questions for Coach Hoke. Right here in front.
Greg Dooley, Coach. Just your thoughts on Shane's play today.
Well, I thought he did a good job. I think coming into the situation, I think he prepared well. And I said that all week, the way he prepared. I thought he didn't look nervous, shaky, all those things. So I was real pleased with that.
Questions for Coach Hoke. Right here in the front. Please identify yourself.
Zach Buchanan, AZ Central Sports. You guys didn't have a lot of success running the ball. How big of a factor was that for you guys?
It's always a factor. And you know, then you get down, you know, 21-6. So you got to throw it a little more. So that hurt also. I think running the football has got to be a premium for us. And we didn't do that well enough. And then once we got down 21-6, we had to throw it a little more.
For those of you just joining us, we're in a question and answer period with head coach Hoke, and then we'll go to the student athletes. Here in the second row.
John Borton, Wolverine. Did you know going in that you would throw as much as you did, or did it just because you fell behind a little bit like that?
I think, John, some of the, you know, the screens and some of those things, you know, to you know, number one, to get Shane started, give him some confidence. But at the same time, no, I don't think we planned on throwing as much as we ended up. I don't even know how many times they ended up throwing it, but more than we'd like.
Questions for Coach? No final questions for Coach? Okay, questions for the student athlete? We have one more?
Yeah, could you just sum up, obviously disappointed for the seniors, but where this team is in terms of moving into the offseason and moving ahead?
I think this team is going to be very hungry. I think this class of seniors continued to build on a foundation in a lot of different ways that are very positive. You know, the two guys here in front of you, you know, how they competed every down. I think they're shining examples of that. So they're dissatisfied, so I know the other guys are.
Any more questions for Coach Hoke? Wait a minute, we'll get a few more people in the room here. For those just joining us, do you have questions for Coach Hoke before we go to questions for the student athletes? Okay, we'll go to questions for the student athletes. Okay. Questions for the student athletes. Right here in the front.
Hi, Brad Muckenthaler, Maize Blue Nation. Taylor, can you just talk a little bit about your thoughts after your final game as Michigan Wolverine?
Disappointing. It was definitely a disappointing game. But, you know, given the situation, I think this team played just like they did all season. I know this our record didn't show how hard we worked in the offseason, how hard we fought, but the seniors did a good job of laying a foundation for this team. And I think Team 135, if they put their mind to it and they work as hard as they can be extremely successful. Proud of these two guys next to me. Jeremy Gallen for having the receiving yards record? Is that what it's called? That's unbelievable for him. And then Shane coming in, having his first start at a bowl game, that's huge. And, you know, you would have thought he was doing it for 5 years now.
Second row here.
Shane, did they throw anything at you defensively that maybe you weren't expecting?
No. No. We prepared for everything, and they gave us what we thought they were going to do.
Questions for the student athletes? Back here, please identify yourself.
John Borton, Wolverine Magazine. Jeremy, obviously a disappointing way for team-wise for you to go out. I know the record will mean something to you at some point, but it's got to be hard to end on this note.
Yeah, just disappointing game. I mean, the record right now don't mean anything without a win, especially with these guys. With that being said, I feel like Shane held his own, and you know, we didn't play the way we were supposed to, or the way we prepared all this week. But yeah, right now I don't care about the record.
Questions for the student athletes? Follow up?
Yeah, for Shane, obviously moved the ball really well in the first half. Can you talk about those situations in the red zone and just not being able to get it into the end zone?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, with we got to convert on third downs, and we were in the red zone twice early, in which we didn't score a touchdown, which hurts us offensively. I mean, yeah, that's about it.
Questions for the student athletes? No more questions? Go ahead.
Taylor, kind of the same thing. Obviously, you were forced into a situation where you were throwing the ball a lot. Disappointed that you didn't get the running game going a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, it was tough. I think this is probably we had the least amount of running plays in any game, I think, this year, which is, you know, Coach Borges is a good coach. He knows what he's doing. But I think it shows how much trust and confidence and shows what kind of player Shane is to put him in a position to throw that much. And obviously when you get down, you have to start throwing the ball more, but, you know, giving up so many sacks this year and putting the pressure on Shane, and I think he did a good job. He did a great job.
To the right.
Hey, Shane, David Hale over here, sorry. David Hale with ESPN.com. You looked very confident and poised throughout that game, but I'm curious how much from your mental standpoint did getting out there and actually playing, getting your legs under you, what did that do for you, and what do you think as you kind of look forward to next year, what do you think this game might mean for you?
Well, being able to play, I mean, in any game, especially for University of Michigan, which I am, it's huge for me to be able to get the experience moving on to next year in Team 135. And, I mean, who knows who's going to be the quarterback next year for us. Devin's coming back. So we're just gonna work hard for next year, Team 135, and make strides with that.
Any final questions for the student athletes? Over here, camera row.
Taylor, just on the final interception there, looks like you said you were going to lay it all out on the line this game, leave everything on the field. Looks like that hit you laid in the end. Did you just kind of muster up everything you had and just gave it a lick there?
No. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. There's an interception, you go to the ball. Made the tackle. It's unfortunate that I had to be put in that situation, but, when it bounces off a receiver and it ends up in a defender's hands, you got to do what you can to make sure they don't get a touchdown off it.
Questions? Any final questions? Thank you. I can announce it. Okay. Kansas State head coach Bill Snyder will be bringing defensive MVP Dante Barnett, offensive MVP Tyler Lockett, defensive end Ryan Mueller, quarterback Jake Waters. And defensive back Ty Zimmerman. Yeah, move them all down one more, so this is open. Can you tag the back of theirs?
Yeah, we're doing it right now. Here, Shauna.
For those who are just joining us, questions for the head coach, and opening comment from the head coach, and then questions for the head coach first. Then we'll go to questions for the student athletes. Again, the media shuttles will run as long as needed after you get back up to the press box. If you have any issues, please just speak up. One of us will be up there. And don't forget about the post-game media party at the Manor House at the Camelback Inn. Okay, we're being joined by Coach Snyder and the student athletes from Kansas State. Sit behind your name tag, guys. Nice job, guys. Congratulations, Coach. Got you ready. We'll ask you some comments and questions for you. And then, okay, we'll go to an opening comment from Coach Snyder and then questions for Coach Snyder.
Well, very quickly, I'm extremely proud of all the young people in our program. I thought they played well. Played very well against a very, very fine football team, University of Michigan. We're honored to have had the opportunity to be here and have a great appreciation for the Yellowcoats and all the people that surround, this bowl. They've worked extremely hard to make our stay a comfortable stay, and they've accomplished that. And we have some great fans too, and the young people up here with me have a great appreciation for those people that follow our program, and we love being in the area. It's our 6th time, as I've indicated, to one of the 2 bowls, and we've always been treated extremely well. Thank you.
Okay, questions for Coach? Okay, let's start over there. To your right, Coach. Please identify yourself.
Scott Pritchard, GoParacat.com. Coach, can you just sum up the final minutes when you knew a victory was at hand, and just the memories and everything that runs through your mind at that point?
Well, I come from a different planet, and it's never over until it's over, and so I'm soaking wet with 2 minutes and 44 seconds on the clock, and I'm still a little upset about that. So, that's, and he's here with me, and he's going to get his, I assure you that. But, and it's not going to be a water bucket. And again, I mean, it's just, it isn't over until it's over. When it was over, and it said 0 on the scoreboard, then I was extremely pleased and happy for the young guys that are here with me and the other 125 that are in the locker room and their families and all those people in the stands that follow us all over the world to support their team. And, it's just, as, so many of you are well aware, it's a tremendous family that we are a part of, and my happiness is for them.
Coach to the left here.
Kevin Haskin, Topeka Capital Journal. Bill, how important was it to get off to that good start and gain the momentum you guys did?
Well, I think, it's goes without saying. That's one of the things, and each of these young guys will tell you, when we started our preparation 3 weeks ago, the very first thing that we got into was about how we started, and you looked at the last 2 bowl games, and we started off down 17-0 in one of them and down 20-0 in another one, and so that was the emphasis, was being able to start better. And I'm on the sideline watching. These are the guys that were out there getting it done, and they started well on both sides of the ball.
Here in the aisle, Coach.
Fabian Ordaya, Tucson assistant. Coach, you've used the 2-quarterback system most of the year. You went with Jake Waters for the most part tonight. Was it something you planned on doing, or was it just something you saw Michigan doing defensively?
No, it's as I've said so many times, we have 2 very, very capable young guys who have just continually improved throughout the course of the season. Situations really are, we feel comfortable with both of them. We like to play both of them, get both of them in the ball games, and when somebody is doing extremely well, and Jake was tonight, then it was appropriate to stay with him. But it didn't had no reservations whatsoever about having Daniel in the ball game. And you might notice that the second time Daniel was in a ball game, he threw a perfect strike down there. A lot of people say, well, he runs and Jake throws. Jake ran tonight, ran well. Daniel throws the ball. They threw it well too.
Right here in front, Coach.
Bill Bruce Hurdle, K-State Sports Network. How gratifying was it to have the preparation that you went through over the last 3 weeks come together in such a dominating fashion where all facets of the game were generally so strong and so dominant tonight?
Well, I think it's a great tribute to the young people in our program and how they engage themselves in that preparation. You know, once again, it would have been so easy to, you know, have finished off the season as well as they did and then, you know, have that kind of a letdown. But, you know, they remember what happened at the outset of the season, and they didn't want it to happen again. And they took a very individualized approach to this, and when I say individualized, you know, the meaning of that is that each one of them, you know, possessed those values of preparation and wanting to improve themselves and wanting to be a part of a victory, having success. And it was, I mean, they got into it, and I guess that would be the easiest way to say it.
Far right, Coach?
Scott Fishing, GoParacat.com. Coach, I remember in 1997 being here and listening to you in post-game, and you said with a smile and a wink, there's more to come. We knew what that meant. That you had.
What year was that, Scott?
1997 here, yeah.
What makes you think I can remember back to 1997?
But do you feel similar sentiments knowing what is in place and the momentum that you guys gained off of this win, that there's more to come for 2014 now?
Well, I'm a little older and a little wiser now, so it kind of depends on how we practice when we get back. You know, I hope it sets the foundation for the younger players in our program, some of which are up here with me right now. It'll be up to them. You know, I would like to have thought that the 2012 season had laid the foundation for the 2013 season. We didn't get off, you know, to a great start. We took some things for granted. I think our young people eventually realized that and turned the whole thing around. And I hope, and that's a great lesson for, that's the biggest lesson probably for the young people that are in our program returning. You know, realizing how we started this season and why it took place. You know, the why is the most significant thing.
To the left, Coach, third row.
Coach Graham Meach, KWCH in Wichita. How gratifying is it for the seniors, for you to see the seniors snap this bowl winless streak and to carry off a trophy back to Manhattan?
Well, I mean, that's what the dialogue has been all about over, you know, the past several weeks, because our seniors, you know, we've got, you know, a bunch of bowl trophies, but our seniors had never participated. Which means that nobody in our program had participated. When I say nobody, I'm talking about players, had not participated in a winning, had a bowl victory. So it was extremely significant to them, and it allowed the seniors to do what is the obvious, and that is finish off their career in a very, very positive way, which would be very meaningful to them, I think, for the rest of their lives. And against a very, very fine, you know, University of Michigan is the winningest football program in the history of college football, right? I mean, they're never going to be a bad team. These young guys were victorious over a very fine football team.
Coach Shane Ewing, Kick TV, Wichita. Just going along with that, though, do you take a little bit of satisfaction or solace that you won't be answering any questions about winless bowl droughts in the future here now?
Well, I don't answer them anyway.
Any final questions for Coach Snyder? Okay, right here.
Coach, I know you're not prone to individual platitudes, but I'm curious about Tyler's performance. And each and every week, we tend to up the bar on just what we see. It shouldn't surprise any of us. We see it every single week. But can you just give us a sense for your view in his continued development and pushing the envelope, as it were, not only as a receiver, but as a returner and a leader on this football team?
Well, you know, what is really significant to me is how he's managed to do that. You know, the numbers are obvious, et cetera, but, you know, I've said this so many times, you've heard me say it, those of you that are that come to our press conferences back home. You know, I come in off the practice field and I look out on the field out of my office window, and half hour after everybody else is off the field, Tyler Lockett's out there catching balls off the jugs machine. Sometimes Jake stay out there and throw the ball to him, etc. When we came to begin our workouts here at Coronado High School, the time schedule is mind-boggling, because you're just going from one thing to the next, and you don't have time to do very much. So it's practice, shower, get on the bus, go someplace, et cetera, et cetera. And after the first day, Tyler came up to me and said, "Coach," he said, I want to stay after practice, and how can we work this out?" And so we worked it out. But that's the nature of Tyler Lockett. We have other young guys like that. I wish we had 130 young guys like that, because if we had those kind of young people, then we wouldn't have been talking about losing those first 3 or 4 ball games.
To the right.
Coach, you mentioned
these guys are here with me. They can all talk. Okay?
Yeah, we're supposed to finish with you first, Coach.
Go ahead. Yes, sir. You talked earlier about the importance of the strong start in the first quarter, but finishing out the half with the lead, first bowl game in 13 years, to be able to do that. How crucial? What kind of crucial aspect was that in defining the way this game was going to go for you guys?
Well, every snap, every play, I mean, they're all significant. And, we've been behind and won, we've been behind and lost, we've been ahead and won, we've been ahead and lost, not very many of them. That was about a great start, is what I was saying a while ago, and it does, have some significance in regards to the outcome of the ball game. As the players would attest to, we all understand it's never over till it's over, and the idea that we had a lead, however we got there, somebody else can get there the same way. So, you have to continue to play well, and that's what pleased me. We've made a few mistakes, but, when they got their feet back on the ground, they continued to play well, and I was proud of them.
Any final questions for the coach? Okay, we'll go to questions for the student athletes. Again, let us get a microphone to you, and please identify yourselves.
Tyler Scott Fritchen, GoParakeet.com. Talk about your performance and just what's running through your head right now.
Well, right now I'm just excited that we finally won a bowl game. I was talking to Ty Zimmerman yesterday, kind of before the pep rally, and it's been about 4,018 days since we won a last bowl game. And it's crazy when you think about it. One of the things that Coach Snyder used to always say was we had to start off strong. And when you look back at the previous bowl games that we had in the past 2 years, we had a punt return, ran back early. It was a kickoff return at the beginning of the game. So that's one of the things he emphasized day in and day out throughout this whole entire bowl preparation. And we had everybody just buy into the system. Coach Snyder always said, it's a pleasure trip, but it's also a business trip. And I think each and every one of us understood that. And looking at everybody's faces from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to just getting ready to play this game, everybody was on the same page. Everybody was ready to play. And you could see it when we was out there.
Go ahead.
Ty, Graham Meach, KWCH. Can you just give me one word for what this win, this game means to you and the rest of the senior class?
Just special. That's how I could sum it up. We've been to 4 straight now, and when you lose bowl games, it kind of leaves you with an empty feeling for the next 6 or 7 months till you start playing again. So that was a huge motivational factor for us going into this week. I felt that we were very focused, and defensively, I thought we had our best week of practice that we had all year, and guys were, like Tyler said, able to, not mix business and pleasure. And, I'm glad we came out with the win, and glad to get this for the underclassmen, hopefully give them confidence for next year.
Here in front.
Ryan, 4 straight punts and an interception to start the second half. Defensively, just talk a little bit about imposing your will on a Michigan offense that moved the ball pretty nicely on you at times in the first half, and just how gratifying that obviously had to have been.
First off, just my hat's off to Shane Morris, the quarterback from Michigan. He played really well tonight for being a freshman and not having many snaps. But as far as defense, it's just a credit to our coaches. They do a tremendous job in making the right calls, putting us in position, particularly Coach Hayes. He just does a great job with us.
To the far right.
Jake, that first drive, I mean, that was pretty awesome the way you guys were able to start out. How do you feel like that kind of defined the path that this game was going to go in you guys' favor? And then just the connection with the 3 touchdowns with Tyler over there.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you start off fast, or you want to start off fast, and we've had a history of not getting off to the fast start that we want, and like they said, that was big emphasis all week, and we wanted to start fast and not have to play from behind, because when you're playing a team like Michigan or any team in a bowl game, they're a really quality opponent, and they're good, and they can it's going to be hard. So once we got going on that first drive, the coaches had a great game plan for us. Everything we didn't see anything that our coaches didn't prepare us for, and they just put a great game plan, great play calls, and then it goes out to the execution. My offensive line gave me all day to throw. The running backs did great, and then when you got a guy like Tyler over here that will catch anything, get open almost on any route. He makes me look pretty darn good, a lot better than I actually am. So he's a special player too.
In the back.
This is for Jake and Tyler. Jake, were you at all surprised at just kind of how easy Tyler got open sometimes during tonight's game?
No, don't want to say this no, not really. He's when you have a special player like Tyler, anytime you got a route or he's one-on-one, I'm looking for him, and I think he's going to win it, and he knows he's going to win it, and I just have that confidence in him. He's such a special player, and he can get open for any route because he works at it, and me and him have a great connection, and so I'm just trying to get him the ball, and he did a great job tonight as he has all season.
Tyler, would you comment on that also?
Well, I think it just starts back in spring ball, and I think that once Jake finally committed here and we kind of got a relationship going, I think it just started with staying after practice, running routes before practice. Even in the summer, we built that chemistry early, and then we tried to keep it going in the summer, and we just kept on going through it in camp. And then it was just like Coach Snyder said, staying after practice, just trying to make sure we were all on the same page, because that's one thing Coach Coleman used to always say, was just communicate. And being able to have a great coach like Coach Coleman come in and just teach us the fundamentals of the game, and I think that's the main thing that helped us out as a receiving corps, just being able to win at the top of our routes, because he said you're not always going to beat everybody with speed, you're not always going to be able to beat everybody off the jam, but the thing that's going to get you open is just getting out of your breaks. And I think the thing about it is you just got to watch film, and that's something that Coach Snyder always emphasizes, and you got to actually know what you're watching. Sometimes people just watch film to watch film, but I kind of learned that you want to watch film against your opponent and look at the person who's going to guard you and look at their technique. And once you're able to see their technique, you kind of look at the first game and you say, okay, this person plays bump and run, he tries to hit you early. And then all of a sudden you might look at that the whole entire game. And then the next game you see if he does the same thing. And you just try to find out everything about him that you know. So when you line up against him, you already understand how he's going to play you, especially after you then scouted yourself throughout the whole entire week. So it makes things a lot more easier because the game doesn't go by fast when you understand everything that's going on.
In the back to the right.
John Kurtz from KMAN. Jake, what kind of a springboard could this game be for you heading into next year?
Oh, I mean, it can be for all of us returning to end the winless bowl streak that we had, and just going into the next season with a good taste in our mouth. The way the season started, it wasn't the way we wanted, but to finish the way we did, it gives us a lot of momentum and excitement about getting started again. And we're losing some great seniors, but with the work ethic that we have and the coaches, the type of coaches that we have, we're all excited about it.
Here in the front.
Dante, Ty, following up on the question that I asked Ryan about defensive dominance, talk a little bit about that, would you please? Like I said, 4 straight punts and then an interception. Just talk about the adjustments that were made, things that were going on in the second half that allowed you to do that and really kind of befuddle Michigan.
Well, like Mueller said, Coach Hayes does a phenomenal job of getting us ready week in and week out, putting a good game plan together. And, you know, when you have an offense that comes out there and puts points on the board, it kind of makes the team one-dimensional. That's what we talked about, you know, week in and week out, is stopping the run and trying to create turnovers. And, you know, when your offense puts a lead out there, then you know, they have to start passing the ball, and our D-line, you know, pins their ears back and gets pressure on them, and we can create turnovers like Dante had. So that was huge for us. You know, it was a total team effort.
Well, I would say Coach always says who can be the toughest the longest, and that's what he kept preaching throughout the bowl preparation. So that's what we wanted to go out there and do, and we also wanted to go out there and play sound football because that makes our jobs a lot easier.
Over here.
Ken Corbett, Topeka Capital Journal. Following up on that, Dante, getting off the field on third downs has been kind of tough for this team this year, and you limit them to 4 of 11 on third down conversions. What changed for you guys on that situation?
Really manning up and wanting to get stopped so we can get off the field and get our offense out there so they can go out there and score points.
Far right.
Ryan, I got to ask you, man, about the Gatorade, the timing of it, and the delivery. How would you rate all of those?
Probably not very good. I think Coach Snyder was kind of upset about it, but I just wanted to share my happiness with him. But I gotta be careful with what I say because I probably gotta run when I get back to Manhattan. But
second row.
Spencer Lau, K-State Collegiate. Tyler, Dante, you guys have been playing together for a long time now. How did it feel to be up there on the podium together with your honors?
Dante, why don't you go first?
I would say great. You know, God works in mysterious ways, and we never really looked at it like that, but seeing us both up there at the same time really made me happy.
Tyler?
Man, it's an amazing feeling. I remember playing with Dante since 5th grade and just being able to grow up with him and hang out with him outside of football, and even during football. I got to see him grow up. I got to see him mature. He's my roommate right now. I can't get away from him, but, you know, it's okay. And I thank God for our relationship, and I just love this dude. He's like my brother.
Here to the left.
Kevin Haskin, Topeka Capital Journal. Tyler, what motivates you to stay after practice and even during a bowl preparation when there are so many things to do?
I would have to say, I mean, God motivates me to keep going. I mean, there were times, everybody feels like times of giving up and times of quitting, but I mean, you got to look at how you got here, what motivates you to keep on going, because everybody has those days. And I think that just wanting to try to do everything for them, I mean, having a family, you know, behind me, support me in everything that I do, and having a family in football and a great coach like Coach Snyder, I mean, everybody. And you don't want to be that person to lose a game. And I think I told Ty yesterday that's one of the things that motivates me, because I don't want to be that person who loses the game, because then you have an icky feeling for 7 months or another week or 2 weeks, however long it may be. So, I mean, just being able to know that in the position that you're in, and I think that just trying to do everything that you can in your power to make sure that you don't mess up or anything, I think that's all you can really ask for, and just let God do the rest.
To the left in the back.
From the seniors, Ty specifically, I was looking at Trey Walker out there, and he was just shedding tears at the end. Obviously somebody who is going to remember their time at K-State. Just what are you going to remember most, and what are you coming away from with this one?
You know, I'm going to remember these guys. You know, you go to battle with them each and every day. People don't really see what goes on in our lives year in and year out. You kind of look at 12 or 13 games in the season, and not the the sprints during the winter, the times you're out there in the weight vests during the summer. So those kind of things just help you grow, help the camaraderie of the team. And you might not remember the score of second or third game of the season, but I'm always going to remember these guys and going to battle with them each and every day. And I couldn't be more happier for them, and I know they all got a bright future ahead of them.
Ryan, just talking to Ty earlier, and you guys all week had talked about how this game was for the seniors. How gratifying was it, and kind of for all you guys, just to see them finally lift the trophy and walk out of here, with a bowl victory?
No doubt. This is, I've been to the Pinstripe Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, and now the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, and all those bowl games previous.
Yeah.
We weren't successful, and the locker room was total disappointment. And obviously, with a win today, the locker room was totally hype, and it was definitely a better feeling. Me being having another year, it's definitely something I want to chase for next year. Another bowl game and winning it. And it's just a good feeling, and it's the best way to send these guys out. And I'm glad I get another year to do this. And same here with Lockett and Jake, and we're going to be anxious to go to work next year.
This will be the final question.
To that end, Tyler, curious about next year. Coach loves to talk about bowl games being both the end and the beginning of two different seasons. What is there in that locker room right now? You've played on a championship team in the Big 12. You've played on a BCS bowl. You understand the level and the need of what it takes to get there. How close is this football team and this football program to getting back there? And give me a sense for how far that carrot is out at the end of the stick.
Well, the thing about it is I think it sets up a foundation for a new era. And when you look at the past bowl games, like we said, losing 11 straight and finally ending it today and actually winning, now we're on a one-win streak. And I think that this really sets the foundation for next year because you have a lot of guys who are happy right now in the locker room. And we all know how it feels to lose in a bowl game and not know what to do for 7 months because you don't get another chance until you play your first game in late August. So, being able to win this bowl game, it brings a spark to us even going into next year, and it just brings a feeling of just accomplishment because this is the thing that we prepared for since day one, and it's the thing that everybody talked about, whether we were in camp and Coach Snyder let the players go there and talk, and everybody spoke from their heart. And you could just tell that people was like, I want to win a bowl game. And you had some people say, stand up in this room if you ever won a bowl game, and nobody stood up. And I think that that's the thing that drove everybody, and that's the main thing that we wanted to do. And just looking back at the season, seeing how everybody didn't give up, because it's easy to give up at 2-5. And I think that being able to keep fighting and ended the season 6-1, I believe, or whatever it may be, I think that it says a lot about our team, and it gives us a lot to look forward to going into next year.
Gentlemen, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you all.
Great job. You're welcome. Congratulations. Have a safe flight. Congratulations. Enjoyed watching you. Kenny, congratulations. I'll see you upstairs, but that's great.